Hello! Welcome back for another episode of Die in 5, where I'm sharing 5 minutes of knowledge, wisdom, answering questions, basically addressing some of the things that I see happening in the world today as it relates to living the best life possible, right? Because isn't that what we're all desiring? This is the 5th installment of a 5-part series where I'm sharing some pretty crazy excuses I've heard over the time that I've been in the fitness industry, but more specifically as a parent to 2 growing kids. And as a parent, and for those parents that are out there, I get you. I know how life really changes and gets rocked in a big way when we start having kids, right? And number 5, I'll recap the first 4 days. We talked about the aspect that kids take up all our time. This is an excuse that we often hear. We hear, I could be a little healthier, but I have to get to my kids first. And that's great, but eventually that's not sustainable, right? Eventually it implodes on itself, and our health, as it suffers, we can't be the best version of ourselves, nor be the best parents of ourselves. Hey, Carla, how you doing? Nice to see you. Number 2 was the idea that sugar. Kids make us eat too much sugar. Make us, right? Isn't that a crazy idea? The fact that we buy treats, we bring treats into the home, and we say, well, it's for the kids. It's for the kids. And then what happens? We end up eating it. They're not making the purchasing decisions, right? They're not buying the stuff. We are. So we really have to check that excuse at the door. Number 3 is that they force us to make unhealthy meals. I hear that from parents all the time, that their kids are really picky eaters, that they will only make certain types of foods for themselves and yet make completely different meals for the kids because the kids won't eat the healthier options. Who makes that decision, right? We talked a little bit about that in the day 3 video. And then day 4, we talked about role models, kids being poor role models for us. Well, we got to look at it the other way around, right? If our kids are inactive, if they're on devices all the time, if they're not moving very much, eating a lot of junk foods or sugars and not craving the healthy, nourishing foods that are out there, we have to ask them who set that pace for them. Who was their first role model, that first superhero in their life that made them think that was okay? Maybe that was the norm. We have to look in the mirror on that one. We have to own it. We are the role models for our kids. We lead by example. So we gotta be the best versions of ourselves. And number 5, this one hits really close to home. I'm going to share a personal story with you in a second, but it's the idea that kids make us forget who we are. When we have kids, life gets rocked. It gets crazy. And all of a sudden, this idea of being I is now we, right? We go from this idea that we had time for ourselves before, but now our time needs to be prioritized for them. And it's a yes and no situation, as I mentioned with the time piece. But what happens is over time, our to-do lists, they really start to pile up. We become disconnected with ourselves. And sometimes we'll look to our kids and say, well, ever since I had kids, that's why I've lost connection with myself. This is why my life isn't the same as it used to be. I remember many years ago, okay, this is just over 8 years ago, waking up one morning and having an extreme hangover. This is actually from the last time I ever had a drink. And I remember coming downstairs, my kids are on the couch watching Dora the Explorer, Christy was in the kitchen, and I'd made a lot of empty promises prior to that. I believe that I earned the night out. Why? Because, well, I'm a great dad, I'm a provider for the family, I put myself last, it's all about them. But we create patterns of this, right? We justify some of our habits or our behaviors, and we call it a stress reliever. And then we say, yes, I won't do that again. Or no, I know I was in the wrong. I'll mend my ways. I remember Christy looking at me and saying, Di, are you being the type of man that you would want to marry your daughters? Drop the mic, right? That is a virtual kick somewhere. And I remember just looking at her and I could not come up with an answer. Because I was trying to tell myself, get myself out of this situation and try to be in the right. Because that's what we do, right? We want to be right. We want never to be wrong. I was wrong. I wasn't acting that way. And I hadn't really accepted the fact that I'm a parent now. I'm a role model now. I have responsibilities. Meanwhile, I was wasting a lot of time doing things that weren't providing for me, wasn't providing for my family, wasn't providing for the type of man that I would expect to marry my kids one day. It's a very sobering moment. And ever since then, I've been on this new journey, this new path. But I've allowed myself grace. And what do I mean by that? Well, life's a journey of progression. It's not a matter of seeking perfection, because before that, I was always seeking to be perfect in whatever I did. If I didn't do it well enough, I'd beat myself up. I'd say, it's okay, let's go out for a night with the boys because I've earned this. Things haven't been going quite as planned. I need to blow off some steam. Christy, kids, I won't be home until later. Just going out with the guys. I'm gonna have one beer. No. Taking that time and reallocating it now in ways that benefit myself, but also benefit my family from a healthy lifestyle standpoint, it pays dividends. And my to-do list, sure, they're still long, but because my priorities are different, I can now look at what's essential versus what's non-essential. What takes priority now versus what can be done later, or what shouldn't even be done at all? What should I just say no to? And this takes time, this takes practice, this takes self-awareness, introspection. And more than all, it needs a community of like-minded people that are going through similar things as you. That's what I sought out, and I was very fortunate I found those communities. Even in fact, we created some of these communities. Why? Because we knew it was important. So number 5, it's not really our kids making us lose ourselves. It's we lose ourselves as we adjust to this new landscape of being a parent. But it's okay. Take a deep breath, reset, and ask yourself what's really most important to you. What is it that you want in life? Reconnect with that want and create a path for yourself to walk to achieve that. And don't worry, it's never going to be perfect. But even one half step forward is still a step forward, and that is progression. And if every day you make a half step forward, my goodness, after a year, you've covered a lot of ground. And that's a beautiful thing. So that is number 5 in the 5-day series of 5 reasons why our kids make us fat. Now you all know it's really tongue-in-cheek. It's really to get your attention and make you realize these excuses that we think or that we say or we act upon really are just that. They're excuses. And I'd go one step further to say they're bad habits in disguise. Shake them off. Make a commitment to living into your best self now and making daily actions and decisions that reinforce that. If you want some help on that, I'd be honored to be your guide on that journey. Check out rbtshred.com. We got a next 6-week phase starting up next week. We have a baseline week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will be addressing some more specifics on that tomorrow. I've had a number of people reach out with some questions, so I'm going to answer some of the FAQs that relate to this 6-week program. And how does it work? What does it provide you? And how can it transform not only your life, but your health, your fitness, your well-being, your relationships? Because it's a lifestyle program. It's not just fitness. Anyways, with that, guys, I thank you for the time and for you taking the time for yourself to really think on this and reflect. Grab a copy of the free guide, lots of resources, recipes, tips, tricks, hacks, as well as links out to other resources that can help you on this journey. Check it out, the link's below. Any comments, any questions, reach out to me personally, comment below. Of course, I'm here to serve, so I'm looking forward to our conversations. Be well for now, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.